Am I audible?
सुट्टा भेटते शहरांना
Okay. Good afternoon, all.
जय जय भेटते भेटते
One more time. Thank you. So first of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, right? So and you will be boring for 1 more hour. You have to bear with that. Sorry for that. Okay. So I would like to thank Mr. Harnath Reddy sir and so youngsters sitting over here, right? And hope you will get some points, maybe 1 or 2 points. Okay. So maybe during this 1 hour. So due to time, interest of time, so I thought of covering both 2 parts of this deck, right? Essentials for the blockchain. Software engineer and some introduction about the blockchain technology. Right? So, but maybe let's see how far we will reach. And agenda is not important. So I sincerely request you guys, please chit chat, okay, with me, not between you guys, okay? So let's be too interactive so that it will be more useful and interesting. Otherwise, I personally feel bored, right? If somebody delivers lectures or jnana and everything, right? Let's be interactive, right? I'm not going to talk about any technology in particular today, right? So as I know, you guys, most of the people are first year students, right? Okay. So you just entered into the college, right? So technical stream, I would say, not the intermediate or other thing. So technology is maybe too early for you. So at least that's what my feeling. So I will tell you what is required maybe for the future once we go out of the college. What is really required, right? So I just talk about the software engineer, but it will be applicable. Most of the stuff is applicable for all the streams, right? So you can convert maybe some 1 or 2 points are very specific to the software industry, but whatever the stream you are into, like it could be electronics, electrical or mechanical, whatever you want. So, but most of the stuff is similar, right? Is that okay? RRR ఎంతమంది చూసారు? Very less. So I hope everybody understands Telugu, right? Yes. Right? Very good. Very comfortable, right? అసలు తెలుగులో మాట్లాడుతుంటే ఏం పడవలేదు, బట్ ఓకే. సో లెట్స్ వి స్టార్ట్ ఓకే యాజ్ ఎ ప్రొఫెషనల్ వే. మేబీ దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఫస్ట్ స్టెప్ టువర్డ్స్ ద ప్రొఫెషనల్ కెరియర్, రైట్, ఫ్రమ్ ది స్టూడెంట్ లైఫ్. ఓకే. సో బై ద వే ఎంతమంది చూసారు ఆర్ఆర్ఆర్? అబ్బే ఇలా అయితే కష్టం అబ్బా. టికెట్ ఏం తప్పలేదా? ఇదే అదే. సో మార్నింగ్ ఇక్కడ ఉండొచ్చు, నైట్ అక్కడ ఉండొచ్చు. ఓకే సరే. ఓహో అచ్చా అచ్చా. Okay, so as I said, so I'm not going to talk about any technology, right? So even the slide says, the topic says that introduction to the blockchain, but most likely, so we are not going to get time to discuss about the blockchain, right? So I'm going to discuss about, so what is required, okay, once you go out of the college, what is really looking for, companies or whatever, the outside world is looking for you, right? So then let's talk about it, right? So this is just agenda I have, right, listed out. but we don't need to stick to this agenda. Okay. So whatever the topic or what are the queries you have it, just post it to me. Okay. So as long as it is within the context, we are okay to extend the discussion, but not about RRR movie or maybe some hero or heroine. Okay. So as long as this is within the context, we can talk. Okay, to the extent it is possible. Okay. So having said that, let's go to the next slide. By the way, how many of you from computers stream or okay? So I would say at least 50 to 60%. So I'm just repeating it, so you don't need to bother about whether it is a computer software engineer or electrical engineer or some other engineer. Right? You can convert these topics to your stream. Right? If I say some programming language, maybe in electrical you may have something else. Right? But the base concept is same. That is what I am trying to deliver it now. Right? So I am not going to read about this. So what is there in the software industry, right? So maybe for some of you, at least some of you, the dream job would be software engineer, right? So మంచి అద్దాలు ఉంటాయి. సో అబ్బాయిలు బాగుంటారు, అమ్మాయిలు బాగుంటారు. So at least maybe for 10% of the people, maybe the software engineer would be their dream job, right? So then, so what we have to do to get the job, right? So technology is one part, but more than that, there is something else is also required. As a human being, as a student, as a software engineer, we need something else. Technology, obviously, you have to learn. That's obviously it's important. But apart from that, what else it is required? First of all, how the software industry is harmonized, right? What are the different roles it's there, and etc. We'll talk about it, right? So mainly, there are two streams in the software industry. The first one would be the technical stream, and the second one would be the management stream. Maybe I thought of explaining during the using the board, but so that's okay. So we can go over the slides, right? So I thought maybe it will not be useful for the people who are sitting behind last seats. That's why maybe we can go over the slides, right? So and mostly we will concentrating on the technical stream today, right? Maybe some other time we will talk about what is required for the management, right? So in a technical stream, then maybe we will start as a training, technical training, right? So and then maybe we'll move on to the lead, then maybe architect or maybe principal. So these are the one hierarchy which goes into the technical stream, right? And other one would be like manager, project manager, and product manager, maybe senior managers, CEOs, directors, all those stuff, which we are not really interested in, right? So as a technical person, I am more interested in technical stream. Right? That's where I feel it's fun, like working late nights, solving the bugs, and delivering the code and all. So if you look at the technical stream, so the developer, now mostly we are going to talk about developer stream, right? What is really required for the software development. So and then as you grow, you will move on to the next step in the ladder, right? So then maybe other parts. So there are some supporting staff or roles are there. They are called like product managers, the sales team, marketing team, and all those stuff, right? So let's go over one by one. So developer, we talked about it, right? What is mean by developer? Any idea? Have you guys heard about software developer? Sorry? Speak loudly. I'm not able to hear you. So in my definition, so the guy who works late night, solve the bugs, deliver it, that's the software engineer's job, right? So now, apart from that, okay, jokes apart, the software developer means see whatever the application you are seeing, right? Let's say if you open anything, Google or Amazon or anything. So you are open, you are using some applications, right? So software developers will deliver, will code that application, will develop that code, and there are some other team who is calling as a testing team. Like once you deliver the code, somebody will test it, whether it is working as a expected or not. The requirement would be, let's say the Amazon.in, right? Everybody might be using it. So I'm sure all of us are using it, right? Let's say the requirement would be like as soon as I type some book name, so you should get me all the books related with that title, right? That is the requirement. So as a developer, so I have developed the code and see for me. So if you are working on some job, so whatever you develop, you feel that it is right, but it may not be 100% true, or it may not be working in all the conditions. That's why we will give it to some other team called testers, right? They will test that code and deliver it, right? Sorry, and certify that okay, it is working as expected, right? And then we will move on to the productions. So once the code is certified, application is certified, then we will have to deliver it to somewhere, right? So that is called the build engineer. So the build engineer one who delivers the code into the productions, right? Actual application. Is that okay? So please be interactive, otherwise it will be boring for you as well as for me as well. Okay? You can, I don't know whether I can say it or not. You can, okay, maybe it's not the right place. So punchline, but as well, okay, as I said, you should not be go out of the contest. Okay. So but I feel you guys are very slow here. At least we are. So we have only 1 hour. So we don't have much time. Okay. So then management stream, right? See, for example, I am so here working as a software engineer, some developer, right? సో నువ్వు ఒకరోజు కాలేజీ రావచ్చు పోవచ్చు కానీ కంపెనీస్లో అట్లా కుదరదు కదా. సో సంబడీ హ్యాస్ టు మేనేజ్ ద పీపుల్ అండ్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ వెదర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ ఇన్ ఎ రైట్ డైరెక్షన్ ఆర్ నాట్. లెట్స్ సే దెర్ ఇస్ ఎ వన్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్, వన్ ప్రోడక్ట్ which has to be delivered in 6 months, right? So then somebody has to oversee that. So as a developer or as a tester, you may not have complete information about how the project is going on, isn't it? So somebody has to oversee that, whether it is going on as per the plan and budget and the timelines and the resource stuff. If there are any blockers, somebody has to resolve that. So that is into the management stream, right? So again, in a management team also we have different roles. The first one would be that like delivery manager. As I said, somebody has to look into that, the people's, whether the people are coming in office or is there any leaves or anything. And other manager would be project manager. So project manager is the one who actually look after whatever I just said, right? So the budget, timelines, of the requirements, the code is going into as per the requirements and everything. So that is called the project management, right? So let's say before getting into the project implementation, so we have to have the requirements, right? Isn't it? So sorry, yeah. So for that, so there is something called, some guy called product owner, right? So product owner defines how the product is going to be. Like if you say Amazon, right? So how the product list is going to be, like how, what is going to the user profile, how it looks like, what are the different fields it has to be there, and everything will be defined by the product owner, right? So once the requirements are completed, then we will go into the implementation, right? So that's about the product owner, right? So we have the product. Let's say this is the product. Somebody has to sell it, isn't it? Otherwise it's waste of use, right? మన దగ్గర నుంచి కూడా product తయారు చేయాలి కదా. So it has to be sold, right? For that we have a sales team, right? So once we develop the product, Continue. Am I audible? No. They are busy with chit chat. Okay, I said chit chat with me, not with me. Especially after question. Right. So am I audible? Yes. So then we can continue. So there should be some sales team, so who can sell our product to the market. Right? In the same way, so some marketing team has to be there, right? Branding, like this. Some branding has to be there for product. That is done by the marketing. So this is the high level. Maybe there might be some other roles and some other teams, but at a high level, this is what the roles and software industry is going to look like. So automation again is the process automation and testing automation. There are two kinds of automations. Like for example, we talk about testing automation first. See, I have delivered something and tester, there is a tester here, right? So every time I deliver the code, tester has to manually test it. Rather than that, over the period, there is something called automation of testing. So rather than personally verifying the code is right or not, there is an automation tools on. So as soon as we deliver the code, the automation test run, they will tell us whether this particular requirement is as per the required thing or not. So there is something called automation, testing automation. Then process automation means no. So for the automation, again we have to write some scripts. Let's say the input is A. Okay. So that's about the testing automation, right? And there is something called process automation. So there are mainly 4 steps in the software industry, software life cycle, right? So first we have to first we have to develop it and test it and deploy it and finally deliver it, right? So this whole process, rather than manually doing it, so there is an automation process for that. That we call it as a DevOps, but again let's not go there. So there is something called automation for the process as well. Right? So you don't need to write, so maybe I'll share slides or maybe it's a just, right? So the pointers. So let's concentrate on discussion. Excuse me. Can I have your attention please? Thank you. Can I move on? Okay. So now, okay, see, we have so many roles, right? So mainly I will talk about this. The point of
This guy.
oh, somewhere, yeah. So most likely I will concentrate on this developer part, right? Technical stream, especially on the developer part. So what is required for the software developer, right? So this is just my point of view. Whatever I have written here in the slides. See, this is my point of view, right? So for the period, as per my experience, this is what I have realized. So if you want to be software engineer, if you want to be continue in a software industry as a technical person, so what is required, right? So we need a programming language. So have you got about Java, C, C++, Python, right? So those are all called the programming languages, right? So that is one of the foremost thing which is required at least at the beginning of your career, right? Usually people will start as a software developer. That's where, so most of the time you will be writing the code. So when I say I am using code, right? So again and again. So are you guys getting it? What is mean by code? It's like a program, right? So you input something and you see on the screen. So some code has to be done, right? For that. So that is called the code. Right? So that is the programming language is one of the important and foremost thing which is required for the software engineering. Right? At least initial days. But once you grow up, maybe your roles will get changed and responsibilities will change. Right? Then next thing would be emerging technology. So what are the different emerging technologies currently we see in the market? Sorry? Collaboration? No, that's not the technology. Yeah, good, very good. Next? Cyber security, excellent. Blockchain, okay. Cryptocurrency, okay. It's not really technology.
Application of the blockchain.
ఇప్పుడే కదా తిన్నాం ఇంత అలా అలుస్తున్నాను కదా సో యూ కెన్ ఆల్సో స్పీక్ లౌడ్ ఓకే ఇంత సాంగ్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఎంత వాసాం ఓకే యూ హ్యావ్ టు హ్యావ్ ద సేమ్ ఎంథూసిజం రైట్ సో ఏఆర్ విఆర్ ఏఐ బ్లాక్ చైన్ cyber security, so all these called as emerging technology. So what is meant by emerging, right? So now it's coming up. In fact, the AI blockchain is already there for almost 4 to 5 years back, right? AI is even before that, almost 10 years back, right? So that is one of the emerging technology. Maybe you may be interested. So it's up to you. What are the emerging technology interests you and what is required for you? It's up to you, right? So yeah, thank you. So that is about the emerging technology, right? Next one is domain. What is meant by domain? Domain is nothing but just industry, right? We have the banking industry, we have the insurance industry, automobiles, supply chain. So all these called as a business domains, right? In a software industry, we call it as a this domain, that domain. Right? The domain is nothing but just industry, okay, in a simple terms, right? So, and the foremost thing is soft skills. So, I think most of you know what is mean by soft skills, right? What are they? Soft skills. Communication. Personality development. Okay. Again, personality is another big word. Sorry? Public speaking, yes. Right? Emails writing, maybe once you join the company, so as you grow, you may spend maybe most of the time in the email writing. So, right? So email writing, public speaking, and team player, all the stuff comes into the soft skills. Right? So this is my view, my point of view, right? As per my last couple of years experience in the industry. Can I?
Yes, sir.
Now programming languages, right? So I think most of you know Java, Python, Node.js, all those stuff, right? So let's say you open the browser and entered google.com. Anybody knows what is happens behind that? You opened any website, right? Code run out. Very good. Ever run చేస్తారు ఎవరైనా ఉంటారా గూగుల్ సిఇఓ సుందర్ పిచ్చే ఏమైనా రన్ చేస్తాడా రైట్ ఓకే సో యా ఈవెన్ దో ఇన్ లైటర్ వే బట్ సమ్ కోడ్ విల్ రన్ వన్స్ యూ టైప్ ఇన్ google.com or maybe some xyz.videos.com. Right? Okay? So, when you type something, so there will be some person, not really person I would say, something will be there to process your request and send it back the results. Right? See, if you look at this is google.com, right? So any software application, right? Any product, so in simple way, divided into three parts, right? In hierarchy, there will be three parts for any application. I'm just oversimplifying it, but there is much more complexity behind it. But at this level, we'll just talk about very, very high level, right? So the first one would be the front end. The front end means whatever you see, the user sees, right? So you are looking at this browser, right? This is nothing but front end, right? You are seeing it as a user, you are seeing it. Let's say something now, you search for something. Let's say, what do you want to search for? Horror movie review. Right? So, once you've done this, sir, you got the results, right? So, but who is giving these results?
Backend. Server.
Server, exactly, great. Right? So, there is something called server, which is called the backend. Generally, we call it as a backend, right? So, front end says that, boss, this guy is asking for RRR review. Okay, give me the results. Okay, that backend server will process that, right, and will give you that. So then, how does the backend server knows about these are the results and etc. Right? Where does it stores? This excellent, right? So these results will get stored in the database. Right? Server will process it and get that from the results from the database and finally give it to the user, right? So if you take any application, right? So in general, this is what it is going to be. Like there will be front end, there will be the back end, and finally at the bottom layer, the database, right? So there are some programming languages which will be used to develop the front end. At the same time, some set of languages for the back end. Again, for the DB also, there are some DB. We will not say languages, but there are some DB scripts and all. Right? So this is at very high level what is software application is, the architecture. Excuse me, madam. Anything interesting happening? Right? Okay, so this is what the software application is. But of course, there is lot more behind this. Okay. Right. So based on your interest, so I just explained about the front end. Right. Front end usually we call it as a client side. Right. And the back end would be server side. Right. Who process the request, client request, and finally the storage database. Right. So, as I said, the front end, there are a couple of languages, right? The well known is HTML, whatever the HTML page you have just seen, right? Behind that, just CSS style sheets. I will not go into deep, right? So, maybe it is too initial stage for you to get into the actual technology, and that too, we don't have time also, right? So, and the backend, we have the Java, C++, Python, Node.js. Based on again, there are different architectures are there. Based on the architecture, we will use the separate languages, right? And the database, again, there are mainly two kinds of databases. The first one is relational databases and the non-SQLs, no relational databases, right? No SQLs. So again, if you want to continue as a software engineer, so based on your interest, so you can pick up anything, right? I just listed out very few the languages, but if you Google it, you will get lot many, right? And every day we are getting new languages, concepts and everything. Right? What కనిపెట్టేవాడు బాగానే కనిపెడతాడు కానీ నేర్చుకోవడం మనం చేస్తున్నాం, right? Isn't it? So every day people will say blockchain, AI, this, that, and recently Mark Zuckerberg has, what is announced? He has announced one more. Sorry? Metaverse, yes. Right? వాళ్ళు ఎస్ వచ్చిన కనిపెడతా ఉంటారు చదవడానికి మనం చదవాలి ఎగ్జామ్స్ రైట్ isn't it? So this is what the programming language is about it, right? But I will end with one important point. There is something called full stack development. Right? So when I joined the software industry, so usually we will have that, okay, I am the front end developer, I am the back end developer, I am a DB guy. Right? But over the period, the trend has changed. Right? The people needs all these three skills in one guy. Okay? So if not, at least you may be very good at back end, but at least you should know about little bit about the front end and little bit about the back databases, right? So that is called the full stack. So this is in a software industry we call it as a stack, right? You can see that stack, right? Front end, back end, database. So people leads the people with the skills in all three layers, who call it as a full stack developer, right? So now the more demand for the full stack developers, who knows the front end, back end, and the database, right? Any queries? Now, so we talked about the programming languages, right? Let's say you have developed one program, right? So you want to deliver that. So you cannot give it, right, physically. I delivered it, I'll give it to tester. Let's say, for example, you are the tester. I cannot give it physically, right? So you test it. There should be some process, right? So that process is called the DevOps process, right? And we will use different tools for that. It's not enough to know only the programming languages. There are some supporting technologies, okay, which is required to deliver the software and to deliver the product, right? That software, for example, how many of you know the Linux Unix software operating system, right? So yeah, mostly, okay, I'm not saying 100%, but most likely, so you will be developing your code on Linux machines, okay? So we better to have some hands-on on the Linux operating system. Okay, not in deep, but we can have it at now how to just open the file, create the file, etc. Right? So, and we have been talking about the developing the code. But before coming to the development, there should be some architecture, there should be some design, right? Let's say Google has we just given, right? So, and I'm pretty much sure that you might be heard about the architectures of the application design of the application. Anybody heard about it? What is architecture? It's not only for the software application, right? Even if you take some mechanical device, right? Lathe machine or anything, there should be some design, right? Like this component is contacting this component, and this has to be some rotated in maybe 60 RPM, something like that. There must be some design, right? So that is what the architecture and design. You should be aware of what architecture and what design we are going to use it for that application, right? And the source controls and source control repositories, maybe it's too early, but have you looked at the github.com by any chance? No? Okay. See, source code is, for example, we are a team of 10 members, right? So usually in software industry, you have not only one person who is developing the application, right? There is a group of people. Right? So I delivered one piece. Let's say I have implemented one HTML page, and maybe you have implemented some other page 2, and third guy has implemented page 3. Right? So we have to deliver, all three has to deliver into the one product somewhere. Then only it will be called as a product, right? So for that, so we have something called source code repositories, right? I'll take the source code, I'll develop my piece and check it back. Somewhere I'll put it. In the same way, you also develop your own piece and put it back, and finally that is become a product. So to maintain that, there are some couple of tools. Like most popular one is Git repository, GitHub, right? So you can just Google it and you will see so many open source projects. Right? And this is one of the good starting point for you if at all you are interested in the open source projects. Right? So I just googled it. This is something related to the blockchain, and there are so many open source projects, right? So this is where you see, if you are really interested and you want to know what is the code inside open source project, this is one stop for you at github.com. So that is about source code. Am I going speed or is that okay? What's the time? Okay, so in the interest of time, I'll just move on. Okay, so after all, so once you know everything, but the trend is, see, when I joined my software, when I started my software career, right, in 2005, so people used to say, my manager or my lead used to say, you try it yourself, right? At that time, Google also not so popular and we don't have anything. So now the trend is like, see, your lead or your manager don't bother about whether you copied the code or somebody else has worked upon, on behalf of you. So you must complete that. Right? Let's say some task has been given to you. It's up to you how do you implement it. Whether you go to Google or you go to your friend, it doesn't matter for them. That's the trend, right? So you have to deliver the task whatever it is given. So after all, everything now. So one more important skill you should have it, how to search the Google. Right? And whom should we contact? And who is the best place? As I said, GitHub is one of the source. Likewise, there are a couple of, right, so many sources to get the code, design and everything, right? I'm not saying that you have to depend on Google, but searching the Google is also very, very important, okay? I still remember that, right? So there was some context on how to search the Google, okay? So, in fact, my friend has won that contest. That's a different story. Now, the trends is, see, I think you heard about the visualization, metaverse, AR, VR, I think, so before session had that, right? Now the trend is after Corona, right? So earlier we used to say, BC means, what does it mean?
Before Corona.
Before?
Christ.
Christ. Then become? Before Corona, right? So likewise, so earlier the trend was different. Now we are moving towards the visualization, right? Rather in person. Now we are going to, so going into the visualization, right? So AR, VR, metaverse, so all those stuff, right? And then the next one is decentralization. See, earlier there is some company and we have to go to the company for something, some services, right? We will go to the company. Now, the Valedictory Palan, so companies are coming to the users now, right? So companies are moving towards the people. Right? So Valedictory Palan, best example would be like ration on the mundu man kotlo techukunnavadu ration shop. Maybe you guys are not aware of it, but when I was childhood, I used to go to ration shop and get that ration. Right? Now we have Indian game, right? Okay, in the same way, companies also approaching the same way. Rather than you coming to me, so I come to you. You tell me what is your requirement. That is the next trend, right? That is the trend which is going on. People-centric. So organizations are coming to the people and understanding their requirements, and so software software punya, so everything is coming to the user level, right? So that's it. So how much time we have? Only 5 minutes. Okay. So in the interest of time, so let's move on to the next one. So I think most of the emerging technologies you are already aware of it, right? So we will not go into the deep one by one, but just to list out couple of important, right? AI, I think everybody knows about it. And this is the topmost thing, which is almost there for 10 years, and now it's on. So there are so many jobs, there are so many applications in the industry. And we have the blockchain, cloud computing, IoT. Anybody has heard about IoT? Internet of Things, right? So now the next, one more trend is like smart devices, right? So smart fridge, smart automobiles, smart phones, smart watch, and everything, right? Drones, right? So now so these are already established, and we talked about metaverse and all. Right? Domains we talked about it. Soft skills we talked about. Yeah. So this is one more important slide. I would like to spend 2 minutes on this. So you are in, I think, first year, right? So maybe this is one important slide for you. Where to go, right? What to start. There are so many resources are available for you, right? So if you go to the internet and you search for it, there are so many things are available, right? The first and foremost thing it is important is maintain the relationships, right? Social networking. It's not about Facebook I am talking about, right? So when you say relationships, so maintain some relationships with the people in the industry, or maybe in other industries or what. So maintain the relationships. So how many of you have the account? Yeah, how many of you have the account on LinkedIn? Very few. So better to have the account on LinkedIn and right connect with the people who are in the industry and in different domains and fields. Right? That is one of the important socializing. Right? And other one is there is something called meetups. So have you guys attended any meetups? Right? So there is something called meetups, right? For each and every topic or even technology. So people are conducting. See, like for example, I am interested in blockchain. There is a people, interested people in the blockchain. We will meet. Okay, there are something called meetups. In the same way, if you are interested in AI or if you are interested in Java, right? So there are a couple of people. I mean, whoever is interested in that particular topic. So we can have meetups because of Corona. So we are not meeting up. But before that, we used to meet. But virtual meetings is also happening. Then the medium articles, maybe anyway you could go through it. But just I want to highlight this. Right? You start doing this four. Okay, at least, not immediately. Just keep in mind that you are going to read and write the articles. Let's say, for example, you are interested in AI here. What is the new trend? What we can do with AI? It could be as small as, like say, you are solving some problem, right? You don't need to solve the business problem, it's just technical problem. Right? That is also important, right? And do some certifications. Let's say you are interested into IoT, right? So there are so many certifications, there are so many courses like Udemy, Coursera, all those types are there. So you can go and do the courses and see. I am not criticizing the marks and syllabus, college syllabus, because we have gone through that. But at the same time, please do spend some time, even if it is 15 minutes or half an hour. Just go beyond the books. Okay, books knowledge will not help you to get the job. That is for very sure. It will give you the foundation maybe to some extent, but you have to go beyond the syllabus. Right? Syllabus is not sufficient enough to get the job. That I am 1000% sure. You have to get up and do all these things. It's up to you what technology or what you are interested in. But you have to go beyond the syllabus and marks. Marks are very, very important, but at the same time, you should have the practical knowledge. Right? So do participate in the hackathons, do participate in the technical discussions, go to meetups, talk to the people. That is very much important. Go beyond that, go beyond the syllabus. Right? Now I'll just, so in the interest of time, I'm not going to cover the blockchain, but I'll just end with one more slide. Yeah, just at the end, I'm just going to give some gyan. Sorry for that. Maybe it will be boring for you, but I thought it would be very important for you guys. Right? As you just started your technical career. Right? So maybe plus slide shows it's self-explanatory. Right? So I personally believe that knowledge is everything. At least for me, I feel that. So if you have the knowledge, how much knowledge you have it, you will get equally that, right? So as a human being, right? So what do you need? Let's just, so as a human being, what do we need? Money? Food? Huh?
Attitude. Life partner.
Attitude, no, attitude is not a need, it's a quality.
More money.
మనకి ఏం కావాలి బతకడానికి?
More money.
Money, oxygen, excellent, but oxygen will not give you technology. Mobile, excellent, madam. What's your name? Right? Clothes. Yeah. So, as a professional, maybe we are going beyond the topic. Oxygen, needle, but no thing you got. Okay? So, as a professional, so what do you need?
Skills.
Knowledge.
Skills.
Okay. Friends. Okay. So, at least in my point of view, we need a respect. Right? In our society, we need some trademark. So let's say Kalyan is so and so. Okay? He is some XYZ. He has done something. Right? In a family, in a street, or in a state, or in country, we need some identity for us. Right? Right? పుట్టాము బతికాము సచ్చాము అన్నట్టు కాకుండా ఏదో అట్లీస్ట్ కొంచెం ఏదో సాధించాలి కదా మనం అంటే వేరే వాడికి కనీసం 10 మంది చెప్పుకునేటట్టు. రైట్? So that's a some identity, right? We need an identity, right? Then, and you need a self-satisfaction also, right? పడుకున్నావా లేచావా తిన్నావా తెల్లారిందా అన్ని వెళ్ళాలి అలా కాకుండా సో యూ షుడ్ ఫీల్ ప్రౌడ్ ఆఫ్ యూ. లెట్స్ సే ఐ హ్యావ్ డన్ దిస్ టుడే, ఐ హ్యావ్ రిటన్ దిస్ కోడ్ అండ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ వర్కింగ్ పర్ఫెక్ట్ అండ్ ఇట్ విల్ బి యూజ్డ్ బై సంబడి ఎల్స్. Okay? So do you know how Google has started? Garage. Yes. And it is started as a one project, right? Final project. And 2 people have started in the garage. Right? Now it became, right? Without Google, we can't even imagine our lives, isn't it? Right? So that's why I'm saying that you should have something passion and you should be some identity for yourself. Right? And the money, of course, right? ఎవరైనా చెప్పినా సరే నాకు మనీ అవసరం లేదు, ఐఎమ్ నాట్ లివింగ్ ఫర్ మనీ, రైట్? ఎవరైనా చెప్పినా నమ్మొద్దు, బట్ అట్ ద ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ద డే మనీ ఈజ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్, రైట్? సో ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ ద మనీ, దట్ డిఫరెన్స్, రైట్? అంబానీకి ఇచ్చిన వాల్యూ మనకి ఎవరు కదా, రైట్? సో అట్ ద ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ద డే మనీ ఈజ్ ఇంపార్టెంట్. దెన్ ఫైనలీ, సో అట్ యువర్ ఏజ్ something else is also required.
ఈ ఏజ్ లో
excellent man. Just 4 years అవ్వాలి, కొంచెం ఓపిక పట్టాలి. Okay? Right? So యా పెళ్ళి దాంట్లో కొంచెం క్లాసికల్గా చెప్తారు. సో వీ నీడ్ ఏ గుడ్ లైఫ్ పార్ట్నర్, రైట్? ఆవాలగా తిరిగేవాడిని ఆవిడ పెళ్లి చేసుకోడు కదా, ఇట్స్ డిఫరెంట్, రైట్? సో యూ షుడ్ హ్యావ్ సమ్ గుడ్ లైఫ్ పార్ట్నర్, రైట్? ఫర్ దట్ అట్లీస్ట్ యూ షుడ్ హ్యావ్ సమ్ ఐడెంటిటీ. సో ఫర్ దిస్ వాట్ యూ నీడ్? సో మనకు డబ్బు కావాలి, వాల్యూ కావాలి, మంచి లైఫ్ పార్ట్నర్ కావాలి. సో ఇవన్నీ కావాలంటే ఏం కావాలి? మన దగ్గర ఏముండాలి? తెలివి, ఓకే, తెలివి. అబ్దుల్ కలాం తెలుసు కదా మనందరికి. ఈజ్ ఏ ఇంటెలిజెంట్? No, right? He's an average student. Bill Gates? Dropped out from 10th class, right? So, okay, it's up to the individuals, but I don't believe in intelligence is not sufficient. Right? Intelligence will add you value, but it's not the primary skill. Right? So, at least in my point of view, these are the two things I believe which is required for any human being. Unfortunately, this is not working. So I believe in two, right? So knowledge, if you have the knowledge, whatever you want, it will come to you, right? And other one is, let's say you are a cook, okay? Chinchasna, Pudjasna, programs Tegarasna, but you are not caring about others, or you are not maintaining the good relationships and good bonding with your teammates, right? You did not chase a video. So you are showing a different attitude. Then you will not going to be survived, right? So the achievement is all about the team. Of course, maybe ఒకడు పెద్దగా ఉండొచ్చు, ఒకడు చిన్నగా ఉండొచ్చు, ఒకడు ఎక్కువ పార్టిసిపేట్ చేయొచ్చు, ఒకడు తక్కువ పార్టిసిపేట్ చేయొచ్చు. But at the same time, if the company is running good, it doesn't mean that it's because of only one person, right? It's because of teamwork. So attitude is very, very important. I mean, so attitude means not only just teamwork. I am saying that you should have a good attitude. Right? You should not give it up. You should try it again and again, and you should have the patience to listen to the others. All those stuff, right? So, at least in my point of view, these are the two basic things which are required for any successful person, right? So, yeah, so we have one more minute. I'll just, so that's the reason I said gain the knowledge and build the attitude, right? So attitude books lo chalite raadu, right? That's why I said build the attitude and gain the knowledge. So you can get the knowledge from anybody, right? You can talk to the people, you can read out the books, you can see the videos, gain the knowledge and build the attitude, right? Nobody will tell you that now behave like this or maybe not around, do not around it, right? You should build the right attitude. So with that, right? So baga enjoy cheyandi, but at the same time do remember that if you are not working towards your goal and you don't have no goal, you don't have any right to enjoy, right? Businessman evaru chusara? లాస్ట్ హ్యాండింగ్ డైలాగ్ ఉంటుంది కదా మహేష్ బాబు లాస్ట్ డైలాగ్. సో ఉంటే ఏదైనా సాధించు, లేకపోతే నీ వల్ల భూమి మీద ఉపయోగం ఉంది. ఓకే, రైట్? సో థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ అండ్
Thank you, sir, for a wonderful education session on emerging technologies in the software industry and introduction to blockchain. It has given us a significant amount of important and up-to-date knowledge on a topic. This might be extremely beneficial to all students in making the best career decision possible. This workshop will have a significant beneficial influence on all our professional lives. We are privileged to have you here, sir, sharing your enormous expertise and engaging us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, once again, and thank you, Bharani. Next, I would like to call Mr. Abrarul Matin of 3rd CSC to introduce today's speaker, Ms. Sorry, there is an interruption. ఎలా ఉంది సెషన్? ఇప్పుడు ఎలా ఉంది? సరే, లాస్ట్ లో ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ తీసుకుంటాం కానీ కల్చరల్ కావాలా వద్దా? వద్దా? ఓకే. సాంగ్ కావాలా, డాన్స్ కావాలా? అర్జిత్ సింగ్ లేడబ్బా, ఆమె కూడా లేదు. సరే, మీకోసం ఒక మంచి సాంగ్ తో ఐ విల్ బి కాలింగ్ షకీరా ఫ్రమ్ మెకానికల్ బ్రాంచ్ ఫస్ట్ బ్యూటిఫుల్ సాంగ్. గివ్ హర్ a big round of applause. అన్న మీరు చూసి ఆ అమ్మాయి డాన్స్ డిస్టర్బ్ చేసినారంట. ఓకే ఎన్ని వేసేసినారు. నెక్స్ట్ ఓకే 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 వన్స్ మోరా ఇప్పుడు లేదండి. Next. I would like to call Mr. Abrar Martin of 3rd CSE to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Bala Prasad Pedagari garu.
Good afternoon, one and all. I, Abrar Martin, holding position Computer Society Chair in IEEE GPRC SB. Immense pleasure to present today's speaker, Mr. P. Balaprasad garu. Mr. P. Balaprasad garu is currently working as Growth and Transformation Innovation Leader, High-Tech CTO Engineering Team at Tata Consultancy Services. He is also rendering his services as President of IEEE Hyderabad section. His key strengths are deep technology and architectural abilities, understanding of business context, excellent analytical abilities, and collaboration with diverse teams. He presents a very knowledgeable and professional outlook in public forums that he attends. We are very glad to have your presence, sir. Now I request Balaprasad sir to take over the session.
Dear students, how many of you are here who participated in Anokha 2.0? Anybody is there? Anokha 2.0. Participants, please raise your hands. Okay, very few, 3 to 4 members. Do you remember, sir? Anokha 2.0 for inaugural function, we have kept an online webinar from sir during Anokha inaugural function only. At that time, it's not possible for us, no. That's why we invited sir offline especially. So with much interest and with your enthusiasm, sir accepted immediately to be as a chief guest for valedictory function and also to deliver a talk on art of thinking. So I request all of you, please make utilize of sir's session, so which will definitely make you to think in a different way. Thank you.
Hello, is voice audible? Great. I think that energy capsule of dance from Shakira is excellent. Probably that has rejuvenated all of you to listen to my lecture for the next 30 minutes. And while the presentation comes in, okay, it is already coming. I will not take more than 30 minutes of your time. I'm just trying to ensure that your Tribula show will be entertained. Okay, so first of all, good afternoon, everyone. I think Energy Booster really helped. Thank you for arranging that capsule of dance. Is this better? Okay, thank you. And thank you GPRC and Anokha 3.0 organizing team for putting up such a wonderful event. So such social events combined with some technology always helps people to get entertained and also get the entertainment package along with the knowledge package. I heard the previous speaker Kalyan was talking about knowledge plus attitude that really makes a person powerful. That's indeed true in all respects. But one need to understand to develop the knowledge, to develop the attitude. One important skill every one of us need to carry is thinking. How many of you strongly feel that you are a good thinker? Okay, I want to see them stand up. How many are good thinkers? Please stand up. Oh, you are trying to motivate others to stand? Motivate. So, okay, second person got influenced. Is it better? Okay, good. Okay, second person is influenced. Now you two influence some more people. Influence, guys. Not only in this zone, you should influence others also. Can't you influence ladies? Okay, third person stand. Now influence 3 people should influence 3 more people. Come on. Influence. Okay, there is a lady which is standing. Excellent. 3 more people. No, you see there. Number is growing up. Now influence more. Start influencing your team, friends. Make them stand. Make them stand. Can't you make them stand, your friends? If you are a good thinker, influence them to stand.
Believe in yourself, stand all of us. Stand.
If you want to make GPRC powerful organization who can produce good thinkers, all of you should stand.
We are GPRCs. We should stand.
What happened with this row? So what happened to you guys?
I am unique.
Anyone still sitting at the back?
We are GPRC.
You're all GPRC produces good thinkers? Say GPRC produces good thinkers. Excellent. Thank you for cooperating. And I certainly feel that you are all good thinkers. And thinking is something, it's an ability which anyone should carry if you want to be a good leader. And once you graduate from the college, if you want to really push your career faster, quicker, into a fast track mode, you should be a good thinker. And thinking is not something that some people get it by birth, some people can be taught about it. Did you ever face a situation in your entire life where people start giving you the suggestions? Why don't you think properly? Why don't you think carefully? Think twice before you act. Did you ever come into that situation? What do you do? Listen and leave? You think about it. How you think? That is the introspection. Do you know what is the process of thinking? Do you understand there is a process of thinking which can be taught? Do you know there is a process to think? People give suggestions, but they never teach us how to think. Probably from the childhood, probably till the age of your teenage. Some of you graduated as a parent like me, and people who are more elder to me. At the entire span of the time now, you always get suggestions to think, but no one teaches you how to think. That is a major problem we always get into, because people don't teach how to think. We always fail to think. But by the time when we go older, then you try to look back at your things, you always find fault. Oh my God, I failed to think about all these things. If I would have done that, my life would have been completely different. So thinking is very important element. Now, what comes to your mind when word thinking comes? Any question mark, very good. But any personality comes to your mind? Huh? I didn't get that name, please. Spell it out. Sherlock Holmes. Okay. Any other name in Indian context? Famous thinker. Vivekananda. Okay. Abdul Kalam. Okay. Ram Gopal Verma, people say. Balai is a good thinker, okay? Jokes apart, Rajamouli, good thinker, good entertainer, who really thinks the pulse. You might get so many names like Steve Jobs also would be a good thinker you can think about. MS Dhoni, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, thinking cricketer. So every Elon Musk, futuristic thinker, everyone thinks about it. Sadhguru, spiritual thinker, very good. But all these people have shown the great abilities only because they can think differently. They are the leaders who can think. They have proved themselves powerfully how to think properly. They have habituated the culture and process of thinking. But you know the person behind this thinking? Person who has really defined the process of thinking? It's Chanakya. How many of you heard about the name Chanakya? You might be very interesting to see that Chanakya introduced the heart of thinking and he named it as Anvikshiki. A very, very powerful subject which really talks and teaches, defines the process of thinking. Chanakya is very, very highly spoken about his intellectual abilities to think under the extreme difficult situations. He has made the common man as a great leader. He has made a common man to a powerful king like Chandragupta Maurya. He knows how to understand the enemies very well. And he is able to master different kinds of the subjects over the period of time and develop the process to teach others and groom the leaders of the future. A great thinker can do all these things. And the heart of thinking tries to touch upon these particular subject areas and enables you to think in that direction. The intent behind I picked up this particular topic is to ensure that I give you the right direction you should think. And Chanakya is very, very popularly known for his book authored by name Arthashastra. A book which has been authored more than 2000 years ago, but still very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. Even today, many financial and economical experts across the globe refer that particular book. And it is even today one of the best sellers. Not sure how many of you know about or recollect that particular Arthashastra. There are so many chapters and verses in that book. Probably once in your lifetime you should definitely read, but don't read it at the fag end of your career. Read it before that so that you can practice, because every chapter and verse in that career can shape up your career in a new direction. Even though you learn about the technologies which Kalyan has mentioned about, you will be practicing about the emerging technologies, but when you read that particular book, it teaches the heart of thinking to the next level. So what it teaches? Any art of thinking has got 4 important practice areas. It's easy for you to practice. The fundamental knowledge. The first is Anvikshiki, which is trying to talk to you about the philosophical thinking, how you try to think about. Second, it was a Trivarta Dandaniti, what we call. Tribe speaks about the 3 fundamental Vedas, Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda. People may feel, why I need to read all these Vedas, but that's what talks to you about the good, bad, that tries to teach you about what kind of decisions and what kind of situations you need to make. And in the business leaders today, it's all about taking the decisions to shape up the business. Tribe teaches you the ability to make the decisions. Varta, it's all about the economics. Today, if you are trying to say an engineer, a doctor, but the powerful people who are going to lead the world are the economists. You agree with me? They are the people who are going to draft the policies. They are the people who are going to teach about or speak about the rules, guidelines, regulations, compliances which you need to be aware of. And these economists are so powerful to understand the trades of the business. If you can master the Varta, which is about the economics of scale, economics of business, you will be able to really understand how to trade the things in the world. Dandaniti, which is primarily trying to talk about the political science and the political thinking. In fact, very, very important as a business leader, when you go in the organizations, you might be starting your career as a developer or a test engineer, it doesn't matter. Do you think at the end of your career you stay there only? No, no. You will be groomed yourself as a CEO or a vice president or president or a director or different kind of roles which you get into emerged. So at that point of time, you need to understand the political thinking, and that's where the science of punishment, science of good governance comes in. And you need to understand this Trivarta Dandaniti, which will really make a big impact in your career. Now, the science of thinking is completely driven by these 4 fundamentals. And if you really say, those are the 3 important things which I was trying to talk about. That practicing the Anvikshaki is all about, it can be taught. You need to understand what is the difference between the good and evil. Do we really question ourselves? Do we really reason? We were trying to touch upon the Triple R movie. How many of you read reviews before going movie? Why you want to read reviews? Why you can't write reviews? Why you want to believe in the review given by someone else and get influenced? So you trust the person. Have you ever seen the person who has written the review? Why you blindly trust? He can give you a rating of 2 or 2.5, 3. It doesn't mean that you will not watch that movie. Why you need to read a review? In fact, reading the reviews are fine, but getting influenced by the review is not fine. You need to question, reason, and try to make your own decision appropriately. So understanding the good and evil is one of the important Vedic tradition which is trying to talk about the tribe. The second important thing is a material gain or loss. Anything you do, any business you do, any choice of learning you do, you try to say and ask for yourself, what's in it for me? Why I need to attend Anokha 3.0? What I will gain? What's in it for me? So the profit and loss, gain or loss or something which you need to always question about. As long as you try to question those things, you will be able to appreciate the decisions what you are trying to take is really conscious enough. The third important thing is about the good and bad policy. That's where the science of politics comes in, Dandaniti, which tries to provide you the kind of a good governance understanding how you make the decisions. So these 3 practicing functions can really help you to develop the skill of Anvikshaki when you're trying to make the decisions. Now, but what you gain as an individual? As an individual, when I develop my art of thinking, you might have heard about critical thinking, creative thinking, or design thinking. All these things provide you the clarity in your thoughts. In fact, I always remember the word called watch. Watch always talks about Watch your words. Words determine your actions. Actions speaks your thoughts. Thoughts defines the character. Character enriches the heart. Watch. So when you try to do, your thoughts gets more cleared and you will be able to have a very clear communication with your peers. The verbal and oral communication and listening communications are critical as a good leader as you function about. The third important thing is action. The way, whatever the action activity you do, there is a huge amount of perfection you gain over the period of time when you practice anvikshaki, knowingly or unknowingly. But this fundamental characteristics when you develop as an individual leader, you'll be able to make yourself as a powerful person. Now, I want to touch upon this six thinking types, why it is important, and how this six thinking can really help and shape up you as a person. Both side thinking. Have you ever heard about both side thinking? People talk about, always think about the two sides, always see the two sides of the coin, positive and negative side. Yes or no? Yes, sir. How many of you know about Shukracharya? Yes, sir. Guru of Asuras. How many of you know Brihaspati? Guru of Devatas, right? If these two people are coming, to whom you salute first? Both of them are coming at the same time. To whom do you salute first? Both are equal. Both are equal, but whom do you salute first? You know what Chanakya says? When both arrive, always follow the principle called Om Namaha Shukra Brihaspati Abhaya. Means Shukracharya need to be saluted first before Brihaspati. Because wicked people always try to find the loopholes. You need to counter them by your intellect, by treating and saluting them first, so they get pacified. Then the good people never find faults. They try to understand the situation and try to behave accordingly. So when such kind of situation arises, you need to provide your intellect way of looking at the things. People say, right, so always look from both the sides. Second aspect, whenever you're trying to say, you heard about Abdul Kalam, you always say date or dream. When you try to dream and you try to realize your dreams, what happens? Sometimes your dreams gets fulfilled, sometimes it does not. When the dreams does not get fulfilled, many people get into the depression mode. You should not end because of the depression. You need to understand, not all dreams can be fulfilled. There would be obstacles in their life. You need to deal with the obstacles and try to move forward. The ability to deal with that kind of a difficult situations is very, very important as part of the both side thinking. And it is very important, you take an example of a river, right? River flows in the direction where it can reach ocean. It can find many obstacles like mountains, hills and everything, but yet it tries to find its own path to reach to the ocean. Yes or no? Similarly, individuals who apply the both side thinking will find out the paths to reach to their destination at any point of time. So carry that ability which can make your life much, much simpler and better for yourself. Alternate thinking. What, have you ever done an alternate thinking? Suppose you need your money. What do? You ask your father? Yes or no? Suppose your father does not give you the money. What do? Huh? You connect with your mother? Grandfather is okay. Grandfather is another option. Suppose if your grandfather does not give you the money, what do? Say for a triple R movie only you want to watch, 400 rupees ticket which is there in Hyderabad today. Or you want to watch a 3D or 2D movie. Your father does not give you the money, your mother does not give you the money, your grandfather does not give you the money. What do you do next? They don't give you the money. You beg, you try to borrow from your friends, you try to loan, but you want to find out something. So what is this? This is all about alternates. You are trying to find out all the possible paths to raise your money for your desired needs. So alternate thinking is very, very, very powerful to understand for every problem there is a multiple solutions. For every solution, it could result into multiple problems also. So you need to understand whether you are problem focused or solution focused. If you are problem focused, which is good, you can become a good researchers. In fact, anyone who can define more problems, they are good researchers. But if you are a solution focused guy, you need to be a consultant, where you will be able to offer the different solutions to the different customers at difficult situations. So understand which type you are and accordingly develop your alternate thinking, which can make you much more powerful as you grow in the organization. The third important element is a leadership thinking. Good leaders always grow in the organization with the thought. In fact, I would say that all of you are the great leaders you will eventually become. But the power of great leaders comes with the heart of thinking what you try to develop. Thinkers or leaders are always selfless people. They only think about the people other than the team which they are trying to carry. So there is two different things as a leader you need to think about: happiness and well-being. Just think about your parents. Parents can sacrifice everything for their kids to ensure that their kids are happy. But remember, a child when he is trying to go to the school, if he cries, even though he is trying to go to the school, he cries, they try to push him to the school just for ensuring the well-being is there. That's what we call Sukha Hita Niti. Sukha is a happiness, Hita is a well-being. When you try to take the trade-off between those things, always the leader takes care of the well-being of the people, not the happiness of the people. Well-being ensures the long-term goal of the people, while happiness could be a short-lived. Even if you go to visit a doctor, they normally try to give you a kind of a pill which can cure your disease. It might be very bitter in nature, but the bitterness will go away, take away all your ailments and ensure that you are cured completely. The intent of the doctor is not to make you happy by giving a sweet pill, but the intent of the doctor is to make you well-being. So focus on the well-being nature and you try to make a decisions which is only deriving the thoughts which can make your team to be well-being. As a great leader, you need to think in that particular direction. Creative thinking. How many of you have heard about creative thinking? How many of you are creative in nature? How many of you paint? Draw? How many of you see pictures and visualize and interpret? These are the people who are creative in nature. They are going to think out of the box, completely different. They are the people who really appreciate the heart what they are trying to see. They try to see something different. Now let me know, when you watch Triple R movie, let's get to the context here. What do you want to watch there?
Rajmouli's creation.
Creation. Now Rajmouli's creation, what kind of characters he has developed? Character visualizations, characterization is equally important. But how do you bring that vision into the reality is very important. So thinking out of the box, applying the creative thinking is very important as part of the entire movie taking. You agree with me? Ensuring that goosebumps are coming when the hero's introductions are coming, ensuring that goosebumps are there during the climax scenes. That's all about the creative thinking of the director, which makes that entire vision into the reality. So the creative thinkers need to really bring that into the context. In fact, as part of the creative thinking, when I refer back to the Chanakya's Ardhashastra, at that point of time, they need to find the elephants which are powerful to withstand and serve the army. Elephants are considered to be the richness of the army, what they try to fight against the enemies. So there are not many elephants are there, but how do you choose the elephant which is powerful? So they don't want to choose the elephants which are old. They don't want to choose the elephants which are kids. They don't want to choose the elephants which does not have tusks. They want to choose the elephants with 20 years of age with specific characteristics so that it can join the army and serve the army long term. Such kind of a characteristic thinking is very important when you really wanted to capture the thing. Similarly, when you are forming a team for your project, you might be doing a major project, and you heard the last session when Sadananda Langa sir was offering you a project. You need people with the diversified skills to combine together, come here and do it. Forming a team is also a kind of a skill. It requires you to identify the right skills which are required and who possesses the right skills who can form the team. And that is a creative thinker's important skill what you need to really look at. how you identify the right composition of the team can serving the project. The fifth one is about the lateral thinking. Lateral thinking tries to talk about the thinking out of the box. Thinking out of the box is very, very important. You might be having many challenges, but you need to see out of the box solutions, how we can offer different views, different needs, different purposes, and can really make a big difference. How many of you really solve the problems in the near future, the past, future? In the past, how many of you really solve the problems thinking out of the box? Can you share any one example? How you solved it? What was the problem? How you solved it? Any example you want to share with your friends? Go ahead. I saw a few hands popping up there. Don't want to share? You want to keep it secret? Okay? That's fine, but so speaking out is very important. Understanding out of the box solutions are very important, because today when you are trying to look into the industry has got many problems, and if you are able to solve the problems in a very simplistic approach, that would be very powerful. In fact, today when I am trying to talk about this, say for an instance, customer comes to you and say that I want to generate a very business-centric reports. You are a Java developer or a C++ developer or a Python developer. You may say that, okay sir, I'll go and code this and then they generate a report. Is that the right way to look at it? Or understand the customer's context, customer needs, and say that which will be more self-service enabled by teaching them about the Power BI or a Tableau or a low-code or no-code platforms, which can offer them to generate the reports on their own. So that there may any kind of a new reports which he need to generate or enhancements need to be done, he will be able to manage the changes by himself rather than coming to you. Thinking out of the box is always trying to see what is the best, easy, and maintainable solution for the future. Always think about futuristic, and also ability to do the things self-service mode, so that it reduces your own effort. Don't lock down the things, make the things much self-service, so that you have an opportunity to serve in the new areas better. Last one is the spiritual thinking. Many people think spiritual thinking is for the people who have done with their job in their life, at the fag end of their career. When they are retired, they need to really look. That is completely a myth. Absolutely a myth. Spiritual thinking makes you powerful. Spiritual thinking makes you a balanced person. Spiritual thinking helps you to make the decisions much better. Spiritual thinking enables you to think very powerful, keeping your team's priorities. Spiritual thinking does not entail to say that you will be the person who's retired or getting into the sadhu sect. No. I would definitely encourage you to be a very spiritual in nature, so that your thinking is very pious. You exactly know the three elements, good and bad policies, material gain or loss. You exactly understand traits associated to the political nature, so that you can make a powerful decisions in the favor of the business what you are really looking at. You talk about Jaggi Vasudev, Pandit Ravi Shankar, or any other spiritual thinkers in the world. They are also the extremely good business leaders. You agree with me? Jaggi Vasudev's inner engineering is a powerful seller. The way he teaches about the engineering and brings out your inner emotions into the context and ensures that you become a very good, powerful person. Again, it's a business concept, raising the money. Yes or no? Art of living of Pandit Ravi Shankar. Business or not? They are spiritual thinkers, but they are teaching you how to think, how to live. Do you really need to know all these things? If you can practice your art of thinking or anvekshiki in your nature, you are automatically there. And they are trying to rebrand the same thing and bring it to you with their flavor of experience and making it much easier for you to adopt. So that's what this six different types of thinking anvekshiki advocates and things talks about, which I strongly feel that if you start practicing it, you'll be a very powerful thinker as you try to move. Obviously, we spoke about MS Dhoni, who is a thinking cricketer. He asks, if you see many of his instincts, which is decisions, Probably you may be find it foolish, but at that point of time when on the field when the cricketer makes certain decisions, or like as a captain he makes certain decisions, some goes in his favor, some doesn't go. Probably in his case, 90% of his decisions were in his favor. That is the reason people say he's a thinking cricketer. But if you say, ask him, was there any logic in your decision? Probably not. He will not be able to answer. At that point of time, his gut feeling made him. So the continuous practicing of Anvikshiki, the gut feeling decisions will always work in your favor. And some more thinkers which I want to bring into your attention. These are some of the thinkers who really made the world a big difference. They are the true optimists, and following the non-violence and following that kind of a peace culture with the optimistic view. Mahatma Gandhi was able to bring down the independence to all of us. The intent behind that entire thought is to ensure that you need to be thinking big. Similarly, Mother Teresa, who are action-oriented mentality, don't worry about the good and bad, but worry about the result in the favor of the poor, so that they can be really served for the purpose. Having a purpose-driven thinking is also equally important. Similarly, if you see Christ or Einstein, Steve Jobs, Nelson Mandela, something like you talk about believing in unlimited potential. These are all the things which are the characters of the people who really made the thinking differently. So when you think differently, what happens? You will be a big game changer. Today, when the industry is adopting the emerging technologies, there are many game changers generated over the period of time. There is a future of retail, future of travel, future of hospitality, future of banking, future of services, future brands, future health. Everything is future all about. Future of work, what we are trying to advocate about. These are all the brands which has really ridden on the technology and made their remark longer and purposeful. You see some of the Indian brands are also there. I just want to drag your attention to the Narayana hospitals there, who has rebranded themselves into the future of health and really made a big difference how they serve the community by leveraging technology to the greatest purpose. They leverage virtual reality, they leverage artificial intelligence, they leverage analytics. Their applications and automations are very, very powerful in nature. If you have a time permit, visit Narayana hospitals, you get to see something great. Future of technology, Bharti Airtel, equally Jio now. They were able to ride on the technology. That is the reason. They strongly believed data will be the 21st century oil. And because of that, they were able to get a massive subscriptions. Today, they don't use ARPU rates, average calls per user. They now look at average data consumption happening per user. Because the consumption which is happening today is all about data. And if you try to talk about the future fashion, you take all this Ashmi, Atelier, Desigual, threadless. In fact, future of fashion, today they don't engage models coming from the celebrity area. They make their customers as their models. When customers becomes their models, it becomes a completely different story. The voice of the customer will be heard and it will be very, very purposeful. So intent, I want to bring your attention. I'm not getting into a thing here, but look, when you start thinking differently, apply Anvikshiki in nature, you will make a tremendous impact and the potential for you to unlock your knowledge, because knowledge is wealth, unlock your potential to ensure that you will be able to become a great leaders of the future. So, can I say that you all vote for changing your thinking culture, become a good leaders from GPREC? Yes! 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 Great, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, K. Sai Tanmai, holding the position of Vice Chair of IEEE GPRDC Student Branch, feel it as an immense pleasure to propose vote of thanks to Sri P. Bala Prasad Garu. Thank you, sir, for incorporating us in the discussion and making it so lively. Everyone looked to be having a wonderful time during the session. It has unquestionably improved our thinking process while also enriching and explaining our thoughts. The session showed us how to overcome hurdles by knowing what to do and how to execute it without giving it much thought. It has also taught us new cognitive processes such as how to embrace issues and view them as a challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, Dharman. And thank you, Bala Prasad sir, for taking such a wonderful session. And how was the session? Saying words, guys. I think there are no more words to express that, right?
No words.
Short of words? No words. Okay, that's good. Okay. Session అయిపోయింది. After some time we will be having valedictory session. That is the closing of the session of Anokha 3.0. Feeling sad?
Yes.
Can't hear you. నిజంగా సరే వాళ్ళు పైన స్టేజ్ అరేంజ్ చేస్తారు అప్పటి వరకు మనం ఏమైనా గేమ్స్ ఆడదామా కల్చరల్స్ అయిపోయినాయి కదా గేమ్స్ ఆడదాం
దీనిలో ఉంది కదా లైవ్ నీ ఫోన్లో తీయాలి నీ ఫోన్లో తీయాలి ఒక్క
నేను చూస్తేనే మధ్య నుంచి ముందర వచ్చినప్పుడు ఆడే వచ్చినాడు ఎప్పటి నుంచి మధ్యాహ్నం లంచ్ తర్వాత వచ్చి ఆడే ఉన్నాను ఆ సార్ దగ్గర ఆ లైన్లు గీనా నాకు ఇచ్చి ప్లాస్టర్ నువ్వే ఆడ కూర్చున్నా అప్పటి నుంచి ఆడే ఉన్నాను ఒకసారి ఈసారి
గేమ్ ఆడదామా ఈజీ గేమ్ ట్రిప్లీ వాళ్ళు ఎవరైనా ఆడారా ఈ గేమ్ ఎనీవన్ ఫ్రమ్ ట్రిప్లీ సెకండ్ ఇయర్స్ ఇక్కడ ఎవరైనా ఉన్నారా ట్రిప్లీ సెకండ్ ఇయర్స్ సెకండ్ ఇయర్ ట్రిప్లీ అడుగుతున్నా సరే స్టార్ట్ చేద్దాము ఇట్ ఈస్ జస్ట్ క్విక్ గేమ్ నథింగ్ వెరీ కాంప్లికేటెడ్ నేను సేమ్ సీ హియర్ దేర్ విల్ బి 4 ఫోటోస్ అకార్డింగ్ టు దట్ దాన్ని అన్నిటిని కంపేర్ చేసుకొని యూ హ్యావ్ టు టెల్ వన్ వర్డ్ దట్ కమ్స్ ఇన్ యువర్ మైండ్ ఇప్పుడు అక్కడ చూడు షీ ఈస్ రేజింగ్ అ హ్యాండ్ some hands are also raised he has raised his child into the air answer may be there is mari anta complicated ledu I have divided into some groups and it may be interactive ani nenu pettanu let us go with the session okay na okay easy level yes answer hot easy hot last question next what is the word that links these two images first aid stand and answer means the one you will be having a portrait picture on the way individual next the average level what is the word that links these what is the answer
అందరిది ఫోటో తీస్తారు
అందరూ ఎలా తీస్తామండి నెక్స్ట్ యా what is the word that is the combination of these కాదు క్వశ్చన్ బాగా చదవండి get up and answer CCTV క్వశ్చన్ సరిగ్గా చదవండి అక్కడ Next, what is the word that links these four together? First year la andaru ellintaru deeniki. Yes, cheppandi ra. Next. Yeah, spiral. Name adama? Anyone? Yeah. ఇద్దరు చేతులు ఎత్తారు వద్దండి ఫస్ట్. ఫస్ట్ ఇనిషియేషన్ నెక్స్ట్ గర్ల్స్ లో అమ్మాయి ఎత్తింది అండ్ లాస్ట్ రెడ్ డ్రెస్ అనువే కర్లీ హెయిర్. yes you మీ ఇద్దరు నెక్స్ట్ గర్ల్స్ లో ఫస్ట్ బాయ్స్ వచ్చేసేయండి. గర్ల్స్ మీరు కూడా వచ్చి ఇక్కడ కూర్చోండి. ఏం లేదు, జస్ట్ లైక్ టిక్ టాక్ టో తెలిసిందే కదా. సో ఫ్రమ్ యువర్ మీరు అపోనెంట్స్ అన్నమాట. ఇప్పుడు బాయ్స్ లోని అపోనెంట్స్, వన్ ఆఫ్ దెమ్ చూస్ ఎక్స్ ఆర్ జీరో.
నేను జీరో తీసుకున్నా. ఎక్స్ ఎక్స్.
ఫస్ట్ ప్లేయర్ ఎక్స్ ఎక్కడ పెట్టాలి?
ఇన్ ద కార్నర్.
Oh my God.
ఎక్కడ? ఓ ప్లేయర్ 2
కింద సెంటర్ లో.
సెంటర్ ఎక్కడైనా?
సెంటర్.
యా నెక్స్ట్ ప్లేయర్ 2
ఫస్ట్ లో లాస్ట్.
ఇక్కడ నెక్స్ట్
లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ నుంచి సెకండ్.
లెఫ్ట్ సైడ్ నుంచి ఇలా ఈడ introduce yourself.
Myself Gandhi Prakash from Mechanical B first year. Myself Yashwant from Mechanical B first year.
Thank you for coming here and taking the initiative. Thank you once again. And from girls, Ujjain. Same game. It's X and 0. Player 1, player 2. Who will be choosing X and 0?
ఆ లాస్ట్ కి పాస్ చేసేది. ఆ లాస్ట్ లో కలెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటాం.
Yes, 0. First player 1.
దాని తర్వాత మళ్ళీ దాని తర్వాత సర్టిఫికేట్స్ ఇస్తారు.
Center. Yeah.
మళ్ళీ అన్న ఇది మూమెంట్ వస్తాయి.
Third row first. X, day 1.
Third row, first row, third row.
See there.
అయిపోయింది. వేస్ట్ అడబెట్టి వేస్ట్.
Fast.
Third row, second.
Third row second.
First row, first one.
Brilliant.
There is. Pair 2 is the winner here. Introduce yourself.
I'm Sneha Priya from ECE. Lakshmi Prasanna from CSE.
Yeah, from 2 different departments of the same department వచ్చారు కదా ఇది వర్క్. అయిపోయినాయి. సెషన్స్ ఎలా ఉన్నాయి ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ తీసుకుందామా? ఆ ఫీడ్బ్యాక్ కాదు, ఇన్ ద వర్డ్స్. ఎవరైనా మాట్లాడతారా? గివ్ ఎ ఫీడ్బ్యాక్, నాట్ ఆన్ ద పేపర్. పేపర్ మీద ఇస్తారు. వీ వాంట్ దట్ టు ఎవాల్యుయేట్ సో దట్ వీ కెన్ మేక్ సమ్ మోడిఫికేషన్స్. మాట్లాడతారా? ఎనీవన్?
నాకు ఒక డౌట్ ఉంది. ఇందాక హలో ఎవ్రీవన్, నేను ఆకాష్ ఫ్రమ్ సిఎస్టి ఫస్ట్ ఇయర్. నా డౌట్ ఏంటంటే ఇందాక సార్ అడిగారు కదా మీలో ఎవరు గుడ్ థింకర్స్ అని. ఫస్ట్ ఆదిత్య లేచాడు అండ్ చాలా మంది లేయలేదు. యాక్చువల్గా సార్ గుడ్ థింకర్ అంటే ఎవరు సార్? మీరు ఇందాక చెప్పిన థింకింగ్ క్వాలిటీస్ అన్ని ఆల్రెడీ ఉంది, ఎగ్జిబిట్ చేసేవాళ్ళు కదా సార్. కానీ ఇక్కడ నా వరకు నేను ఇంకా అంత థింకింగ్ లెవెల్లో లేనని నా ఫీలింగ్ సార్. నేను అంత గుడ్ థింకర్ కాదు అని నా ఫీలింగ్. సో నేను లేయలేదు సార్, నేను కూర్చొనే ఉన్నాను. కానీ ఇంకా అంత ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ వల్ల నేను లేచాను. అది తప్పే కదా సార్? సార్ అంత ఎస్ సార్, అంత ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్
because people they carry unlimited potential and many people don't know that potential. Honestly, standing here and speaking, you feel that you are a dad or you are a person with leadership qualities. Standing here and speaking requires a lot of things. Yes sir.
Yes sir.
When you're standing here and speaking requires a lot of thinking. What to speak, how to speak, what is my flow of communication, how I connect with things. ఇక్కడికి రావడానికి you have the ability to reason. Good thinkers are always do not go by the face. But చెప్పాడని కదా, they'll reason it, they'll ask questions, they'll probe, and they'll make their decision. The decision may be good or bad, but they'll make their own decision. A person who has the ability to ask questions and reason and not go by the face of the value is a good thinker. If you carry that ability, you are a thinker. Yeah, level of thinking skills matters to be different at different ages, at different levels, but you are a good thinker. not saying that you are a supreme thinker. It's a good thing. You can go as a supreme thinker as you practice unwittingly what I told you. Just practice it and become a good supreme thinker.
ఓకే అండ్ ఒక మంచి స్టూడెంట్ పర్సనాలిటీ అంటే ఎట్లా ఉండాలి?
Student personality.
అంటే ఒక తన గోల్ని తన సక్సెస్ని రీచ్ అవ్వాలి అంటే ఎలా ఉండాలి?
నేను ఒకటే చెప్తాను, మంచి స్టూడెంట్ కావాలంటే you need to have two important qualities. You need to be outgoing and carry fearless attitude. They keep byproduct. Don't judge the result before it happens. Just carry that fearless approach to do the things which you feel is good. Then you will be successful.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Good afternoon, one and all. Honorable Chief Guest, distinguished speakers, Women's Cell Coordinator, faculty advisors, and all my dear friends. A warm welcome to all of you. I, Sheikh Umayruman, IEEE Women in Engineering Affinity Group of IEEE GPREC SB, currently EC Department. Cordially invite you to the two-day IEEE GPREC SB Anokha 3.0 with the theme of Break the Barriers event. Hope all of you had a productive time and also amusement in these sessions. Now, it gives me an immense pleasure to inviting today's chief guest Sri P. Balaprasad Garu. Sir, I request you to come on to the dais and occupy the chair. Thank you, sir. Now, I invite today's guest of honor, Sri Kalyan and Bala. Sir, please come on to the dais and occupy the chair. Thank you, sir. Now, I request our ECE Department HOD, Dr. S. Nagaraja Rao Garu, to come on to the dais and occupy the chair. Thank you, sir. Now I request our HOD, Dr. S. Nagaraja Rao Garu, to preside over the valedictory function. Thank you, sir.
So I welcome you all to this valedictory function. The first item is created by E. Maulana of CSC.
महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिं महादेवसुतं महादेवसुतं गुरुगुहनुतं मारकोटि प्रकाशं शान्तं महाकाव्यनाटकादिप्रियं मूषिकवाहनमोदकप्रियं महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिं मनसा स्मरामि महागणपतिम्
report on workshop where you can meet and
This is ASI Others of 4th Mechanical, Student Chair of Robotics and Automation Society. I would like to clock in Anokha 3.0. The main objective of this Congress is to motivate the students, especially first and second year BTech undergraduate students of G Polarity Engineering College, Karnool, organized by IEEE GPRCSB WIEAG. 234 students participated, of which 7 are IEEE members and remaining 227 are non-IEEE members. The reason for this theme is to make students come out of their comfort zone and break all the hurdles they face in the journey of success. All the participants are from first, second and third BTech of all branches. The topics delivered by the resource persons during this Congress: Extended Reality, now and beyond by Sri Ikram Ali Sheikh, founder and CEO of FutureNet Software Solutions Limited. Inclusive Journey by Srimati Suja Warrior, Senior Leader Diversity and Inclusion Infosys. Organic Farming by Sri Gopinath Reddy, Sri Subhash Palekars, SPNF Farming. XR and Educational Metaverse by Sri K. Chakradhar, XR Developer, TCS XR Lab and alumni of GPREC. Automated Guided Vehicles by Sri Sadananda Lanka, business owner of Rivatech. Essentials for Software Engineer and Introduction to Blockchain Technology by Sri Kalyan Konda, AVP, KRYPC. Art of Thinking by Sri Balaprasad Pedigari, TCS Chief Products Officer. Awareness session on IEEE and its benefits for students by Ms. S. Umerman, Mr. K. Srivardhan, Mr. K. Rohit and Ms. P. Pranita.
the distinguished chief guest. Sri Balaprasad Garu and guest of honor Sri Kalyan, Milan colleague and IEEE student branch advisor Raghunath Reddy and PRO Dr. Raghunath Reddy and my colleague Dr. Gordon Reddy and other colleagues, student friends. Good evening, one and all. It's an immense pleasure to me to talk before you about this great event. The third time the IEEE student branch is conducting this Anokha successfully. And this time, because of that huge flooding last year, and the number has been restricted to 250 to 260 between, I think so. So how did you feel of this student congress, our student summit here? You got benefited?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we should be thankful to student branch for inviting eminent speakers with versatile topics here, and all the students are being exposed to different kinds of fields. From this, different kinds of discussions took place for this couple of days. Yesterday morning session and then afternoon session. And today, the forenoon session and the afternoon session topics are quite impressive and attractive and more useful information. And I sincerely I'm appealing to the students in EC branch, especially AAA and then ECE, becoming the members in this IEEE is mandatory. I'm just forcing them, so you cannot understand that it is a forcing. It's highly required nowadays. The membership is highly required. Right? So you see the benefits of that membership. I was discussing with Prasad sir. He was talking about this the benefits of membership. Even I know that some of our students, after having participated in so many activities conducted by AAA in the campus, as they are applying for higher degrees in foreign universities, those students are being the opportunities and then given the importance and the priority based on their activities and their role in IEEE student branch while they are studying in the UG program. And even scholarships are being provided by foreign universities for those students who are the members of IEEE. So you just go through that. What are the benefits of becoming IEEE member? After becoming IEEE member, what are the benefits that a student can avail? So you can understand it. So my sincere advice to you all is become members of IEEE. It's an international body. You can see a lot of benefits after becoming members in this society. There are so many societies under the student branch. You can take participation in any society. The EC is having 3 societies and Triple is having some societies like that. You can. Right? So I should be very much thankful to IEEE student branch of this institution. So for inviting me as one of the speakers for this valedictory function. On behalf of management, the principal, on my own behalf, and the faculty of GPREC, I sincerely express my thanks to all the speakers coming over here and expose the students to the technology for some time. And with their excellent background and work in these areas, they have given some idea. Right? So it is better not only listening, but realizing the facts. So the students have to realize, right? That means not only listening to that, after that the implementation is very important. Then only you can see the benefits of it. I strongly believe this. So I request, I conclude my speech with this. I convey all the best to the students for the forthcoming events in which you are going to take the participation. Now I request the guest of honor, Sri Kalyan Garu, to come over here and speak a few words.
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me here and just talk to you guys. So thanks to Colorado College and the lecturers here, especially Arnara Reddy sir, and more importantly you guys. Right? Thank you so much for that. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. So I think whatever I wanted to say, I already spoken to you. So during my session, so I'm just going to repeat just 2-3 points. Right? So technology is evolving like anything, right? So technology is changing day by day. So you have to be buckled up and get on to your goals, right? So academics are important, but at the same time you have to, right? So go beyond academics, right? That's more important. So enjoy the life. So as we all know, the college life is more important for the enjoyment as well as the, so set our goals and do hard work. Right? So thank you so much once again.
I request the students to speak a few words.
Thank you, GPREC, and thank you, Anand Reddy Garu and Nagar Garu, and also the entire organizing committee team of Anokha 302. I was referring what Anokha means, and Anokha in Hindi is like unique, right? Yes, you're all unique. Yes? Yes. So many unique brands can be created out of GPRC. And Anokha's goal is to create and you graduates from such kind of an esteemed institution. I want all of you to be unique in your own way, specialize in your own way, brand your own way, and make a great impact to the society by your learnings, knowledge, culture, research, innovation, and your attitude. That makes you a powerful personality as you try to graduate and move forward in your career. You agree with me? A big yes would do? Yes. Thank you and all the best wishes. Anokha continues for generations to come, but this experience will be cherished for your lifetime. All the best.
The next item is issue of certificates to the volunteers.
Yeah, good evening, respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. I, K. Rohit, Student Branch Chair of IEEE GPREC, take the privilege to give the certificates for all the volunteers. So, first of all, I welcome Bala Prasad sir to give the certificates for the participants. I request S. Umeruman, Program Chair. Yeah, clap for her. Next, I welcome P. Pranita, Program Chair of the event. Now, I welcome B. Maunika, Model Designer of this Anokha. Further, I welcome P. Meghana from CSE, Model Designer. Next, now I request Kalyan sir to give the certificates. And now I request K. Srivardhan, Graphic Designer. Next, I request N. Lakshman Kumar, Graphic Designer. Now I take the privilege to invite the backbone of Anokha event, A. Sai Adarsh, Registration Committee Leader. I now request the second backbone of registrations, P. Nikita Pitsi. Now I request the most hard worker, SD Sai Varun. Next I request K. Amog. Next I request DVR Shashank. Next V. Sai Tanay. So we have come to an end of registration committee, and for most of the registrations, the main reason is the publicity team. And I now welcome K. Vaishnavi from Tripoli, the publicity volunteer. Now I request Nagaraj Rao sir to give over the certificates, and now I request N. Pranati. Everyone is important. And now B. Jayavardhan. Next, G. Bindu. B. Bharani. Now let's make it quick. D. Anjali Reddy. U. N. Manjunath. Muhammad Amir. M. Likita. K. Sai Tanmay. M. Amir. M. Likita. K. Sai Tanmay. B. Kedarnath Reddy. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, sir. I request Abrarul Martin. One of you announce his name.
పాపం మట్టిని చాలా
Now I cordially invite our backbone of this Anokha and our mentor and also
టీమ్ ఇండియాలో సార్ అడుగు ఒకసారి లచ్చు టీమ్ ఇండియాలో అడుగు సార్ సార్ ఎంజాయ్ చేయాలని అడుగు సార్ ఎంజాయ్ సార్ ఎంజాయ్ చేయాలి
required some feedback from students about this event. Sitting there and enjoying is different. Coming over here and
స్ట్రీమ్ ఎంజాయ్ చేయాలని
అయిపోయింది కదా మ్యాక్స్
అదే రోహిత్ గారు ఒక్కరిదే సరిపోతుంది అంటే వాడు ఒక్కడిదే బ్లాక్గా పడింది ముందు బాగుంది మధ్యలో సరే బాగా వచ్చింది అందరికీ బాగా వచ్చింది రా వీళ్ళు ఒక్కడిదే బ్లాక్ వచ్చింది ఫేస్
Good evening, everyone. This is Shiva Bharati, and I am from second CSPS. So I think it gives me immense pleasure in order to give the feedback about this event. And I think this is the second experience of this Anokha for me. I was also a volunteer last time for Anokha 2.0, and this is my second experience. You know, you are all here, you are all very fortunate because this is what which makes you all stand out from the crowd because you are all eager to learn something new. I hope each and everyone might have taken few points that would be really helpful for your career. Since many of you are here first years, I would like to tell one thing that it is the right time to explore yourself now. Have you all learned something new or not? Yes, definitely. Right from all the sessions, I think there were 7 sessions in total, and from each and every session there was something new that we have got, and that would be very useful for us in the future to go. So that is what first years I would like to tell you that come out and stand out from the crowd and make yourself something new and gain something new from each and everything. Try to explore yourself and break the barriers as the theme says. Thank you so much, and I wish you very all the best. It's really wonderful.
అవునగాడు ఈ జోడు జూమ్ చేసి ఇంకా ఇంత పెట్టింది అయిపోయిందిగా తిరిగి శ్రీవర్ధన్
నేను ఎంతసేపు మాట్లాడతాను
నువ్వేరా
So good afternoon everyone, myself Gandhi Prakash from Mechanical B. So firstly I thank organizers over here for the excellent event conducted. So I'll continue in Telugu. So firstly organizers ki thanks like excellent event conduct chesanduku vachina speakers ki vallandariki like firstly formal ga maatladda starting lo register cheskuneటప్పుడు everyone asked about attendance provide chestara leda ani cheppi so attendance 2 days ki provide అన్నప్పుడు సో ఎవ్రీవన్ లైక్ వీ కెన్ బంక్ క్లాసెస్ నుంచి దూరంగా ఉండొచ్చు అని చెప్పి వచ్చిన నేను కూడా అదే టైప్లో వచ్చిన సో వచ్చిన తర్వాత తెలిసింది ఏంటంటే లైక్ నార్మల్లీ ఒక స్పీకర్ వస్తారు స్పీకర్స్ ఏదో ఒకటి మాట్లాడతారు మనం చేస్తూనే ఉంటాం తినేది ఇంటనే ఉంటాం అనుకుని వచ్చినాము బట్ మెకానికల్ మీ నుంచి వచ్చింది మేము 3 మెంబర్సే లైక్ నేను లైక్ యశ్వంత్ అండ్ 1 more guy సాయి రోహిత్ అని సో వీ థాట్ లైక్ 2 days క్లాసెస్ కి దూరంగా ఉంటాము లైక్ వీ కెన్ ఎంజాయ్ సంథింగ్ అనుకోని బట్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత తెలిసింది ఏంటంటే లైక్ వీ గాట్ గుడ్ పాయింట్స్ ఫ్రమ్ ఆల్ ద 7 సెషన్స్ లైక్ ఫస్ట్ సెక్షన్ రియాలిటీ గురించి లైక్ తర్వాత అగ్రికల్చర్ గురించి కానీ బ్లాక్ చైన్ గురించి కానీ లైక్ రోబోటిక్స్ గురించి కానీ అండ్ క్రియేటివ్ థింకింగ్ గురించి కానీ అండ్ అనదర్ థింగ్ సమ్ అదర్ థింగ్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంటరీ రియాలిటీ
inclusive journey
like Sujava garu so like pratokka like all 7 sessions gurinchi we learned something right augmented reality gurinchi like in metaverse gurinchi sir excellent ga chepparu నాకు నాకు అన్ని జరిగిన 7 sessions లో నాకు నచ్చిన 4 sessions like agriculture నిన్న చెప్పిన XR గురించి ఈ రోజు చెప్పిన metaverse and virtual reality గురించి in the last session thinking గురించి art of thinking గురించి so like I thank every one of these speakers for coming over here and inspiration and for great words. Thank you.
నలుగురికి మాత్రమే థ్యాంక్స్ నువ్వు కూడా వెళ్ళాల్సిందే ఏం చేస్తున్నారు? ఆడుకుంటున్నారు అంతే.
వాల్యూమ్ బటన్
అదే
ప్రెస్ చేయండి.
యాక్చువల్లీ ఆయన అనోకాని కూడా పెట్టాడు.
I'm glad to give to be here to give a feedback about this excellent event, and you all know that the sessions were excellent and we have gained some knowledge, and every session had given us a bit knowledge, and that had given us a path to our career. And let me continue until ఇప్పుడు ప్రజెంట్ వరల్డ్ ఏమైతుందంటే ప్రతి ఒక్కరు టెక్నాలజీ వెనుకబడి హ్యుమానిటీస్ గురించి మర్చిపోతున్నాం. ఐఎమ్ గ్లాడ్ దట్ హ్యుమానిటీస్ గురించి కూడా ఒక సెషన్ ఉంది ఇక్కడ. అండ్ ప్లీజ్ ఐ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ, ప్లీజ్ ఎప్పుడు టెక్నాలజీ మొబైల్లోనే ఉండకుండా సోషల్ మీడియాలో కాకుండా ఫ్రెండ్స్తో కూడా ఇంటరాక్ట్ కండి. అండ్ థ్యాంక్ యూ.
నువ్వు ఇటు సైడ్ దిగు, సరేనా?
నాగరాజరావు సార్ మొమెంటో టు బాలప్రసాద్ సార్. I request Nagarajara sir to give memento to Kalyan and Bala sir. Louder. Thank you sir. Now I request Mr. K. Chakridhar Anna to receive memento from the dignitaries on the dais. I also request our faculty advisor Ananthalakshmi ma'am to come onto the dais.
See, I'm just here to mention about one more memento to Chakradhar. So first memento, of course, from management, from IEEE, that is Anokha memento. One more memento is there. Please give a big round of applause. That memento actually is the month of September last year, I'm saying. So our department got one Atal FDP, that is a sanction for our EEE department in the name of myself for conducting virtual reality in engineering education. It's a faculty development for 1 week program, nationwide 1 week program. For that we invited Chakradhar as a resource person for that. That is one important aspect. So that is why. So on behalf of our chief management, our department, we would like to thank very much, especially Chakradhar, for being as a resource person, not only for this Anokha, earlier even for faculty development program also. So it's a great recognition for him. As an alumni, we invited him as a resource person for faculty development program. Why I am mentioning this is, even if you are there, if you are becoming, or if you are really talented, we are there to invite you as a resource person for the same institution, that is for your mother institution. So it should be a great moment for all of us. Your alumni being as a resource person not only for student program, even for faculty programs also. So please once again give a big round of applause.
I request the Valedictory about quickly to propose vote of thanks.
are present here. Let this not be the end of journey. Like the seed of the plant, let this be the idea of your brains. Let us grow and acquire together. This is Vaishnavi K holding the position of IEEE Parent Energy Society Chair. It is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks for the valedictory function. On this note, I would like to thank our chief guest, Shri P. Bala Prasad Garu, TCS Chief Products Officer, for ratifying his knowledge in us. Thank you, sir. I'd also like to appreciate our guest of honor, Shri Kalyan Garu, AVP KRYTC, for his proliferating essence to enlighten us. Thank you, sir. We are always in debt of our guests. I convey my sincere thanks to all the guests for gracing the event despite their busy schedule. Now I thank Dr. S. Nagaraju Rao sir, Head of Department, EC Department, for his charismatic presence. I thank the glory of our institution, our beloved Principal Sir, Dr. B. Srinivas Reddy Garu, for igniting a spark in each and every student. The words are inadequate to express the immense gratitude. I am grateful towards our branch counselor, Dr. C. Harinath Reddy sir, and faculty advisors for all the student chapters for their persistent support, encouragement and guidance. Now this would have been not happened if our amazing and energetic team volunteers would have not taken part in this. Last but not the least, I thank the amazing audience for being so cooperative and patient listeners for past 2 days. Thank you one and all.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now I invite any one of the students to sing the national anthem on the stage.
We also join with one of you come over here. Let's pay respect to our nation, the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल वंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जाहे तब शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Yeah, thank you so much everyone. Make second day refreshments iledu. So you can go from the back and collect your refreshments within a minute. Buses will be leaving at 4:45. Okay? Yeah guys, certificates gurinchi cheptunnanu. Your certificates will be signed by the principal sir and we will come to your classes and distribute your certificates. Attendance is already submitted to your HODs.
Guys, please take your refreshments and go to those who are going through buses. Please leave. Buses will be leaving by 4:45. Okay, it's already 4:42. I think. Make your move as per your senior guidelines.